The fork made a small, sharp sound against the porcelain. My sister, Miranda, had set the table like our mother used to, everything in its precise place. Our mother had been dead 6 years now, but Miranda still arranged the salt shaker an inch from the pepper, the napkins folded into tight triangles. "You're still taking the bus, then?" she asked, not looking up from her plate. I took a bite of roast chicken. It was dry. It was always dry when I came here. "She likes the bus," my father said, and the smirk was audible in his voice before I even saw it. Very environmentally conscious. He tore into his meat with the vigor of a man who had never doubted himself for a single second. We just picked up the new Porsche. Carrera. You remember what a Carrera is, don't you? I remembered. I remembered everything about cars because he had taught me years ago, before he decided I wasn't worth teaching. Before Miranda became the one who stayed, the one who laughed at his jokes, the one who married the right man and gave him grandchildren who would learn about Carreras. Pathetic, really? He added, chewing. "A daughter of mine taking the bus." Miranda was a small, practiced thing. "She likes the independence." The word hung in the air like a bad smell. We all knew what she meant. She meant you chose this. You chose to be strange and distant and unmarried and childless, and now you take the bus like someone who can't afford a car, like someone who failed. I looked at my father's face. 72 years old, still handsome, still sure. He had built a business from nothing, sold it at the right time, and spent the last decade reminding everyone of this fact. Miranda had married a dentist. They lived 4 miles away. They came to dinner every Sunday. I came 4 times a year. I took the bus because parking in this neighborhood was impossible, and because, on some level I didn't fully examine, I liked the slowness of it, the hour of watching trees pass, of being between places. I checked my watch. It was a reflex. I'd worn one since I was 12, when he'd given me a cheap digital for my birthday and told me not to lose it. This one was different. Thin titanium. A gift to myself 3 years ago, when I'd made senior vice president and realized there was no one left who would celebrate it with me. My father saw the movement. "Got somewhere to be?" "Not really." "Then eat your dinner." He pointed his fork at my plate. "You're too thin. You don't eat." I picked up my fork again. The chicken was cold now. The pilot's voice came through my watch. Not my watch. The communicator. I'd forgotten I'd left it on. "Ma'am, your helicopter is approaching. Should I wait at the field, or would you prefer pick up closer to the residence?" The voice was calm, professional, slightly metallic through the tiny speaker. It filled the space between us like water. My father's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. Miranda's smile collapsed into something I couldn't read. I touched the side of the watch. "The field is fine. I'll walk." "Understood." ETA 7 minutes. I looked up. My father's face had gone pale. Not dramatic, not the movies, where blood drains like someone pulled a plug. Just different. The skin tighter. The eyes smaller. "That's," he started. "The helicopter." Miranda's voice was high. "You have a helicopter." I didn't answer. I took another bite of chicken. It was still cold. "You take the bus," my father said. It wasn't an accusation anymore. It was a question he didn't know how to ask. "I like the bus." "Bullshit." He set his fork down. The clatter was loud. "You fly around in helicopters. You take the bus to your father's house." I thought about explaining. About telling him that the helicopter was for site visits, for clients, for the kind of work that required crossing 3 states in a day. That the bus was different. That the bus was mine. I didn't. Instead, I finished the chicken. I drank the last of the water in my glass. I pulled cash from my wallet, $60, more than enough for my portion, and placed it beside my plate. "Dinner was lovely," I said to Miranda. Her eyes were wet. I didn't know why. I stood up. My father stood too, like a reflex he couldn't control. "Wait." I waited. "Are you?" He stopped. Swallowed. I watched his throat move. "Are you angry about something?" The question was so strange, so entirely wrong, that I almost laughed. Angry. 20 years of distance, of being the strange one, the disappointing one, the one who took buses and wore thin watches and didn't have children. And he asked if I was angry. "No," I said. "I'm not angry." And I wasn't. That was the strangest part. I walked out. The night air was cool. The street was quiet, the kind of suburban quiet that feels like held breath. I walked toward the field, half a mile away, where the helicopter would be waiting. Behind me, the house glowed. I didn't look back. The helicopter rose over the trees. Below, the neighborhood shrank to toy houses, to lights and grids, to nothing. I watched it go. I thought about my father's face, the confusion in it, the way he'd stood up without knowing why. I thought about Miranda's wet eyes. I thought about whether they'd invite me back, whether I'd come. The city lights appeared ahead, spread out like a field of something growing. The helicopter tilted slightly, adjusting course. I felt nothing like triumph. I felt the same thing I always felt when I left that house relief, quiet and deep, like a door closing on a room I didn't need to enter again.